Well, it was a great day out there. Couldn't ask for better weather. Great crowd, great atmosphere. I was really happy with the game in itself. Anytime you break up a squad and you feel like there's some areas where you're a little bit thin in terms of personnel, you always are concerned about how you're going to get through the game, but I thought it went extremely smooth. Just checked with our trainers, nothing serious, no injuries that are going to cause any concerns. A couple of ankles, maybe a hamstring here or there, but nothing from an injury standpoint, so that's always great in the spring game. But I think what stood out for me, other than we gave the game ball to Tyler Newsome, our punter, who punted the heck out of the football today. I guess that's a good thing in a spring game. Your punter won the MVP of the game. That says a lot about a spring game. But I thought it was clean in the sense that no turnovers. It wasn't sloppy. We had a couple of penalties here and there, but I thought it was disciplined. It was organized. I thought the team knew what they were doing, both on offense and defense, and that was pleasing from a head coach's perspective. But that's what I would expect at this time in the development of our football team. So quarterbacks, both of them did some good things. I thought Kaiser managed the game pretty darn good. I thought Malik did some pretty good things as well. I think Brandon Woodbush continues to do some really good things. You can see his physical ability out there continues to show itself. And those were indeed design runs to get Van Gorder in the end zone against his dad. So we wanted somebody to have bragging rights tonight, and we were going to make sure that Montgomery had them. I think, a number of kids, stand out for me. I thought Dexter ran extremely hard. Dexter Williams, I was pleased with Justin Brent. I don't know that we have a player on our team, and KJ Stefferson, that can catch the ball at full speed as he cuts across the field. A very unique trait of his. He still has to work on catching the ball vertically down the field, but he catches the ball out of his break at full speed, and it is a unique trait that he has that I have not seen since I've been here at Notre Dame, and we'll continue to work with him. Defensively, I thought Cole Luke played very, very well. Played well at the nickel, forced the ball extremely well. Devin Studstill tackled exceedingly well. I thought Max played well. So there was a number of really good things. Great communication, organization of our fronts. With Niles, a lot of good things. So I'll open it up to questions. I thought he did some really good things. I mean, we'll have to, spend a little bit more time on, some calls that were made, where the protections flipped in the right, side. Did he fan the right direction? Should we have gotten out of a particular play? We'll have to look at that a little bit more detail. But what we didn't have today were some communication errors that we had earlier in spring. I thought he really accelerated that end of his game, where I thought he was a little rusty earlier in the spring. Really did a nice job today in clear communication with his offensive line. And again, you've got some guys that haven't been working together all spring, now trying to work in unison. I thought he did a really nice job with that. I think it puts him over the hurdle mentally. He felt really good coming back, that he got that run in and through traffic, and again, being live in that situation, obviously it puts him now in a position where that injury now is in the rearview mirror. He can move forward and now continue to grow and develop. Strong leadership, strong presence on the field. He's a physical player, but he also has the ability to play a couple of different positions for us as well. And we didn't use some of our, different defensive looks, but he's a guy that, we can count on. He's very smart, hard worker, and he sets a great tone and a great leadership tone for us back there as well. Yeah, so today was really the concern was at the linebacker position because, two guys that have played quite a bit for us were out with injuries, and Tavon Coney and Greer Martini were out. So, Devin Spurrell, who's a walk-on, who did a really nice job today, played quite a bit. Getting him in there and doing some pretty good things helped us out a lot. it was either that or play nickel, and we didn't want to play too much nickel. With Sean Crawford, because he was playing with a green jersey. It didn't seem like he was playing with a green jersey. He played live pretty much the whole game, but we're a little thin at that position. So, Asmar Bilal had a lot of pressure on him today. He played a lot of football. I thought he did a nice job, as a freshman. And again, I think, we continue to, look for more guys to step up at that position, but it's not going to be until the fall where we bring in some linebackers and then Greer and Tavon get healthy. Yeah, Eric, I think it's wide open. I think we're really going to have to, sort out the position for where it's easier to keep him on the field more so than what's best for the other players. It's going to be what's best for him. So we're going to take it slow with him and find what's best for him. It's harder inside because there's so many more variables in terms of what he has to do and adjust his routes. He's probably better suited to be on the outside, but then if he's on the outside, what do you do with Torrey? I think Torrey has more experience where he can flop Torrey around more so with not flopping KJ around. I don't want to move him all over the place. So we've got to really figure out what we want to do with him and stick with that and say, this is where you're going to play next year. I think every year you go into it and believe that, last year I thought if we stayed healthy, we're going to play for a national championship. Certainly a couple plays here or there. And, I think that this defense is going to play the kind of defense necessary for us to get into that playoff hunt again. And there are good enough players out there for us to do that once again. Now, the other area where I'm very pleased is the progress of some of the young players in the back end of our defense. I thought our corner play was better. I thought our safety play was much improved. And those are the areas, as you know, that we need better play at. And I thought that those young players out there today made significant progress. He managed the game very well. Confidence, consistency. I just think that, he continues to, show the things that you want a starting quarterback to show. I'm not giving him the starting nod by any means, but I think when you're talking about Deshaun, where are the areas that we struggled last year? I think it was the red zone where we still need to work there. There's a lot of work. We had just had that conversation yesterday at great length that we'll have to spend a lot of time in the red zone. There were a couple of situations today where the ball was in the middle of the field and he decided to roll left and throw where he could have easily rolled to the right and thrown. Just little things like that. We got to continue to grow in the red zone with him and come up with some touchdowns instead of field goals. So there are areas of growth that are still out there. Okay, so those are the times when the coaches aren't around. And so they have to be driven by those units, and those units then start to take over. It's a classic time when Sheldon Day took over. He took over his group. Nick Martin took over his group. Those guys begin to take over their units when the coaches aren't around. We need to get the heck out of the way, in a sense, and allow those guys to step up and be leaders within their units. And that naturally happens when the coaches get out of the way, especially in May. They go home, they recharge, they kind of assess where they are, and they hear it from us, and then they come back in June and they're focused on physical development and then the leadership element, and they go to work on it. Yeah, I thought what I saw was Malik develop more of an understanding of what we did offensively last year. He kind of had that, look, the offense developed under Kaiser during the year, not Malik. And so he was at a bit of a disadvantage coming into the spring, and I thought he caught up. So I think now that he has a better understanding of everything that we're doing, I think now you've got the race, and that will obviously be decided through camp. No, the only time I had that kind of scenario was when I had two quarterbacks at Cincinnati that were both proven winners, but they were so different. These two guys are so very similar in their skill sets, but I've never had in my entire career, two quarterbacks that you could run the same system of offense with. Like I said, at Cincinnati, I had two different quarterbacks. I had a 6'6" quarterback that was a pocket passer, and then I had a 5'10" quarterback who was more of a perimeter run player. These two guys can do the same kind of things and run the same offense. Yeah, well, I can't keep them both happy. Somebody's going to be unhappy. I love them both. They both are committed. They're both great competitors, but somebody's going to be unhappy. Yeah, little things happen along the way, and it's a pretty sound group. They're not a group that gets too far outside of the blueprint, if you will. In other words, we ask them to do things, and they do them. They're not wanderers. They kind of stay where we point them. They're hunting dogs. I mean, like we probably would like a little bit more personality in some senses, but we tell them where to go, and they go. The only thing is we got to tell them where to go every day. And so we've got to continue to work on that element with this group. But if you tell them what you want and you demand it, you're going to get it from this group. Well, Isaac Rochelle, obviously is a guy that will be a starter for us. Yeah, I mean, I think everybody else becomes, if you look at the safety position, Redfield, Tranquil are going to be on the field. Whether they're starting, they're going to play significant roles, obviously. Cole Luke's going to play a significant role in some fashion. I think you can pencil those guys in significant roles, whether we classify them as starters or guys, playing other positions as well as the one they're playing. Those guys are going to play significant roles as well. Well, we'll sit down with each one of them, and we've got a list of things that they have to work on. In particular, some of it now, as we move forward, is physical. It's not all mental. There are some physical things that we want to make sure that they attend to and continue to work on. So that will be part of it. What size we want them, what weight we want them, how they're moving in that direction is very, very important in terms of their durability. These guys are going to run the football as well. And then we'll work on some of the things. I think we need to continue to work on the management end of things with Malik, continue to manage the offense, clear communication, and Deshaun, just, scoring opportunities. We talked a little bit with Pete, red zone, things of that nature. So there are some specifics that we'll continue to work on with each one of them. He's an exciting player. I just haven't figured out how really to get him involved, to be quite honest with you.
You mean that you as a coach or him mentally engaged? Okay.
I haven't figured out how I can get him involved in this race for the starting quarterback. Somebody would have to give up reps, and I'm not prepared to do that right now. I'm not prepared to give up reps on Kaiser or Zaire to fit Brandon in. And so I would have to make that decision on my own to give up reps on those two guys, to give more to Brandon, to actually give him a fair chance. So this is on me more than anything else. Brandon's doing everything that he's been asked to do. He just doesn't get enough work. And when he gets in there, he shows you can see it from his physical talents what they are. He just doesn't get enough work. And so I have to make that decision as the head coach at Notre Dame. Do I get him the opportunity to compete for this starting job? Because he's really not getting that chance. I think he's had a terrific spring. His player load has been as high as anybody on our team. Matter of fact, I think it's been as high as any receiver that we've had here in a couple of years. In other words, the work volume that he's put in while he's going to school, while he's playing baseball, has been an incredible commitment. Look, he could have taken the easy way out here, right? He could have said, hey, I'm playing baseball. I can't make it this weekend. I got a double header. But no, he would go to practice, and then he would, go into a phone booth and throw on his Superman cape and head on over to the baseball field. It's amazing what he does in terms of the intensity in which he practices and how hard he goes. And then he does the same thing for Mick. And he's a unique young man in that he can focus and give that kind of intensity to both sports. I think I'm going to have to make a judgment call.
How early in the fall would you want to do
Oh,
that?
I don't know when I'll make it, but I'm going to have to. There'll be a time where I'm going to have to say, that's our quarterback. Let's go with them. We're all in, and let's move forward. They're both that good. I already know that. But there'll be a day, and we're going to have to say, it's time to go. He's our quarterback. Everybody's behind him, and we need to go, and that's who the quarterback is. So then what you're looking for is the efficiency of the entire unit working behind that individual. So it's efficiency of operation versus system of operation. So that's really the difference between the two. Look at, we were able to look at it today, and so where was there better efficiency, with the operation? Now, I thought one defense was a little stronger than the other defense. That's my own opinion. I'll come to my own conclusions on those kinds of things. But efficiency of the operation is what I was looking for. Yeah, Sam will be the center. Tristan is doing a great job. He's learning every day. Look, you got to understand. I mean, with Brian's defense, he's drinking through a fire hose with the defensive fronts that he sees. He's got 3 down, 4 down, fire zones. He's got bear defense. He's got all kinds of things. So Tristan's a little bit hesitant right now because that kid wants to be assignment correct in everything he does, so he's a little hesitant. So Sam has really solidified himself. But we can play with Tristan and win with Tristan if we have to. It's just there's a lot for him there. On the right side, it's competitive with, Bivin and Bars. Bars is a little bit more athletic, so he provides us with the footwork and the makeup on a miss with his ability to kind of get back into play with his footwork at the right tackle position instead of the right guard position. So that's why we like him out there. I will tell you right now, and Harry could disagree with me, and that would be fine. I think, Kramer's going to come in and compete over there. I think Parker Boudreau is going to come in and compete. I think there's going to be some competition from some young guys stepping in there as well, and we'll see how that plays out. Maybe I'm ahead of myself, but I think those guys are going to get in there and compete with those guys as well. Much better than I thought. Now, we knew we had really 2 solid football players there. I was extremely impressed with how seamless it seemed in that sense, that they worked so well together, and their game is at a very, very high level.